Running a business is hard work. Building your website shouldn't be. With Wix, you can express your ideas, give direction, then leave the heavy lifting to AI, from site creation to branded content and images. Have fun with the details. Customize what you want the way you want, and manage your whole business from a centralized dashboard with expert AI tools. Build, scale, and enjoy the incredible results. You can do it all yourself on Wix.
Amazing deals for every day of summer are at Nordstrom Rack stores now, and they're up to 60% off.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
I always find something amazing.
Because the best deals go fast.
Save big on Marc Jacobs, Madewell, Steve Madden, and more. Plus, buy it online and pick it up in store the same day for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
I utilize hormonal birth control to regulate a little bit, and it's definitely quieted down the suicidal ideation. Every single person in my family, we all live with suicidal ideation daily. It's just our day-to-day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about killing myself.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bunny Hugs and Mental Health, a free safe space for people to share and learn from others' experiences with mental health and addictions. I'm Todd Rennebaum, a suicide attempt survivor and a recovering substance abuser. Thank you for tuning in. We've got another lovely episode here. This week I'm speaking with mental health and youth advocate AmandaGrace Krier. She is from Pennsylvania in the United States of America, and she's 26 years old. I actually thought she was like 17, and I was interested in talking with a youth person who's advocating for mental health, but she's older than that. That's fine. Actually, I mean, when she started advocating, she was probably 18 years old, so, you know, what's the diff? Anyway, today she is a peer support worker, and her family has a scholarship that they give grade 11s and 12 kids in Pennsylvania. It's called the Sean Flynn Memorial Scholarship. So if you are from Pennsylvania and you are grade 11 or 12, or you know someone that is, make sure to check out that scholarship. Her links will be in the show notes, including for the scholarship, as well as a link to my website, www.bunnyhugspodcast.com, where you can find links to my social media and buy me a coffees and merch and other things. And please, if you enjoy this episode or any of the episodes, go on to Spotify or Apple or whatever you listen to, and you can rate and review podcasts on some of these platforms. Please make sure to do that. It makes a world of difference for podcasters to get those ratings and reviews. You know, whatever podcast you listen to, please do that for those podcasts. Podcasting is a pile of work. It really doesn't pay much. And if you could just do that for your favorite podcasters, that'd be so very much appreciated. And you can even do it while listening. And speaking of listening, why don't you just listen to this episode right now? So without further ado, I give you AmandaGrace Krier.
As far as being within like youth advocacy, that is something that has always been like very much on my heart. I am a disabled person, and I went through the public school system struggling. I climbed and clawed my way out of the public school system. And
what's your disability?
I have a learning disability, and I'm also deaf.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that from your Instagram. Maybe I just didn't look good enough.
It sometimes slips in there. I wear hearing aids, and I went deaf in high school. I wasn't born deaf. But so learning just how to advocate for myself has definitely been just something that I had to learn how to do, because it was like you just had to. You had to like survive. So being a part of youth advocacy has always been like at the core of like my heart. And when I was, I guess I was 19. So in 2017, my cousin died by suicide. I didn't know that there was a place lower than rock bottom, but there is, and my family found it. That he was somebody that you never would have expected, that he was like the popular guy in high school and he was the athlete. But he struggled with traumatic brain injury. He was a goalie in soccer, so he had several concussions, and that really had an impact on his mental health and made him feel as though he could no longer live here in our world. And in my grief, I couldn't just sit with it. I couldn't just sit there and let it consume me. And the more that I talked and told his story, the more that I realized that, like, I am somebody who also struggles. And so does my mom and my brother and my other cousins, that we are a family that struggles with depression and suicidal ideation. And we just never talked about it. So the more I told his story, the more I began to talk about my own personal struggles. And that's also when I started seeking help for my own mental health struggles. And now I'm here today.
Now you're cured.
Not cured.
Oh.
I wish I was. I wish it was just like, yay, I'm better now. I still do struggle sometimes, but I definitely have learned how to catch it early on when I am not doing well. And then I have my self-care plan, my wellness recovery action plan, or my WRAP. So it has all of the things that I can do in order to put myself first, so my mental health first, and also who I can reach out to in order to get additional support in that.
Yeah, I can relate to all that. I can, I'm a suicide attempt survivor, and I've gone through lots of ups and downs, and I'm not cured, but I am much more self-aware now. And when you are starting to get funky, you're like, you can recognize it as, oh, I'm getting funky again. What am I forgetting to do? Or what have I stopped doing? Or what do I need to do? And I don't actually have a list. I've never actually made a list. I just kind of think about it. Do you recommend I actually have a list, like a physical list?
I do recommend it. Depending, each person struggles differently. And sometimes just seeing things written out helps navigate a little bit better. But I've also learned that when I'm not doing well and I do need that additional support, that if it's written out, then whoever the person is that is providing me additional support, if they can see the things that I've self-identified for myself, that they might be able to be like, hey, this, you've identified this works for you. Have you tried doing that? So I do recommend having a little list, and it could be a notes app on your phone. Or it could actually be an index card. But I do personally think that writing it out, it doesn't hurt.
Maybe I'll get it tattooed on my back.
Ooh, I'm a tattoo person too. I have my tattoos. Hey, look at us, twins.
Samesies. I've noticed sometimes that just because something worked in the past to get me out of a funk, or sometimes doesn't work the next time. Mm-hmm. And so I guess if I have a physical list, I just scratch that off or put it on subsection B of appendix A of the list, that this worked before and stopped working. Maybe it'll work again this time. Yeah. That's the frustrating thing with dealing with this stuff. It's just like us, it's evolving, and it gets kind of a tolerance of things too. So for the longest time, it was drugs and alcohol worked. I cracked myself. I couldn't finish it without laughing. But actually, talking with friends in mental health, they actually, when they do public speaking, they're like, when I talk about self-care, I'm not talking about pouring yourself a big glass of wine and sitting in the bathtub. That's not that's not being proactive. You're actually perpetuating things by doing that, even though as good as it feels. So maybe what's on your list, or what's a couple things that are on your list that are genuinely proactive?
So I have a variety of things on my list, and I like having variety because every day is different, and sometimes you want something very low lift, low energy. So that might be taking a bath. That might be watching a comfort show.
What's your comfort show?
Grey's Anatomy.
Oh my God.
I am a Grey's Anatomy girl. I've seen every episode.
Oh my God. I dry heaved a little bit there.
But then on days that I do have a little bit more energy, that I can make a recipe, that I can like make a really healthy meal, or I can do my never ending pile of laundry that just keeps piling up. So having a variety of things that like low lift, low energy, or things if you have a little bit more energy might help too.
And I mean, when you're cleaning and doing laundry, sometimes part of my anxiety is the mess all around me anyway. So it's like, oh my God, that feels good. Oh, yeah. I don't have to worry about that till tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of people have exercise. They go to the gym, they run and stuff. It's never ending because it's like, if I do a comfort show, mine's The Office. So if I'm sitting there watching my shows and I'm like, I should be jogging or on the treadmill or something. So it's like I still can't get away from it sometimes. So then, yeah, that's usually when I then reach out to people when I'm like, okay, I doesn't matter what I do. I can't stop beating myself up. Then I'll text somebody or I'll tell my wife I'm in a funk.
Yeah.
She'll tell me to shut up and do the dishes. No, I'm kidding.
I don't do dishes. I don't. That's my partner's thing. I'll cook every single meal, but a dish, don't ask me to do a dish. I'll put it in the dishwasher, but I will not wash a dish.
We just recently moved. We don't have a dishwasher. And I thought I would miss the dishwasher, and I don't mind doing dishes. I hated it when I was like younger.
I support you in that. That's not for me, but I support you in that.
Maybe that'll be on my list. Like, oh, I've got anxiety. I know. I'll dirty some dishes so I can clean them.
Whatever works.
I noticed that you actually have a charity or a foundation or something in the name of your cousin? Yeah.
So in December of 2019 is when it was on what would have been my cousin Sean's 21st birthday. We launched the Sean Flynn Foundation, and we are dedicated to not only continuing his legacy of just love and laughter, but also bringing awareness to traumatic brain injury and concussions and how that can affect someone's mental health, and also just increasing suicidal ideation. That we believe that he had CTE, or chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which a lot of people, when they hear that, they think, oh, like hockey players, football players, like high impact professional sports.
WWE.
But, yes, exactly. But it can start at a younger age, depending on the sport. He was a goalie in soccer. And just increasing that awareness and that information that if we would have known that the amount of concussions that he experienced over his life would have such a tremendous impact on his mental health, then maybe we would have taken different approaches and that he would still be here today.
Do you ever get any pushback from people about CTE? Because some, at one point it was more controversial than it is now. I think it's become more accepting that this is an actual goddamn thing.
Yeah. Surprisingly, we have not received any pushback. Instead of the pushback, I think that we're just getting more recognition because it really does seem that every single time that we see a young person in our community, 13 years old, 11 years old, who dies by suicide, that they're athletes, that they are doing high intense sports, or they were in a ski accident where they got a concussion. And that's not to say that that is the only thing. That we know that suicide is a very complex, multifaceted issue. But having that acknowledgement that, hey, if your youth, if your teen does have a concussion, does have a traumatic brain injury, let's look into that a little bit more. Let's keep an eye on that, and just how they're feeling and just their mental health.
Interesting. I never thought of that before, but I've talked to quite a few people who have lost loved ones that have taken their own life. And now that you say that, I don't know for sure. Some of them may have played sports. I don't know for sure, but most of them have. Again, that's not necessarily to say that's the case for all the people I've talked to, but yeah, it's funny. When I was a kid, a lot of sports you didn't even wear helmets for. So then they started coming up with this equipment that's technologically advanced, but then people just started hitting faster and harder and better. So it's like, I don't know. It's almost worse now in a way.
It's definitely, sports are definitely more intense as we continue, because people, like you said, they just get better and better, and they throw harder and they hit harder, and it's definitely more intense.
Did you play any sports?
I did not. I mean, I played soccer for maybe like a year, but I was not very good at it. Instead, I was a competitive Irish dancer. So that was my physical activity of choice.
Oh, my sister was a Highland dancer.
Oh,
like Scottish.
Okay. Yeah.
You look Irish now. They say that with your ginger hair and whatnot.
Thank you. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
It is. Holy shit. Are you drinking any green beer today?
No, I do not tend to drink very often, but I do have my family's Irish stew is currently cooking on the stovetop right now. It's still got a couple more hours to sit there, but that's what we're having tonight.
And some Lucky Charms for breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Do you throw events and stuff for the charity, or like how involved are you in this? Is it like speaking engagements?
A lot of it is online, an online presence, but the number one thing that we do is a college scholarship. That it was once a year. Now it is twice a year. So in like the spring-ish and then the fall-ish. So it's 2 times a year. It's the Sean Flynn Memorial Scholarship. It's open to all juniors and seniors in high school in the state of Pennsylvania, which is where I reside. And my cousin, my cousin was the class clown of his high school 2 years in a row. So the scholarship is kind of dedicated to who he was as a person. So it's just tell us a story from your life that will make us laugh, because I truly do believe that if there's anything that he would want us to continue to do, it is to laugh.
I really could have used this when I was in high school. I was a class clown myself. And,
really? You don't say.
No, I'm serious. I didn't play sports, but I made fun of all the athletes, though. No, I don't. Yeah, that's amazing. And I noticed one of your videos, you were talking about seasonal affective disorder as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know, does Pennsylvania have some pretty harsh winters?
I wouldn't say like we used to. It's now definitely warmer than it has been. But being in
thanks, Obama.
Yeah. Now that we're in the northeastern area of the United States, that we do get a lot of snow, but it just gets very dark and gloomy. And I do live in a very rural community. So when in winter, there's really not much you can do except sit inside. And so that definitely does take a toll. And so I do very much experience seasonal affective disorder. But I've also learned that to like increase just vitamin D intake. So I have my vitamin D supplements and change my diet a little bit, that it does help it a little bit more.
Are you on any other kind of mental health medication?
So I am also somebody who has PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So
I've done episodes on that too.
Yes. So I do have that. So I utilize hormonal birth control.
Wait a minute. You have ADHD, don't you? That's your other disability.
I do have that.
Almost every woman I've talked to that has PMDD also has ADHD.
Yep. So that I utilize hormonal birth control to regulate a little bit, and it's definitely quieted down the suicidal ideation that I get because it just in general that every single person in my family, we all live with suicidal ideation daily. It's just our day to day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about killing myself. But definitely learning how to kind of manage that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling a friend the other day about suicidal thoughts, and she was so sad that I told her that I get suicidal thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I thought you were doing better. I'm like, I am. I'm like, what are you talking about? But it's like she couldn't fathom, right? As someone who doesn't get suicidal thoughts or ideation or anything, just blew her mind. She's like, that's so sad that you have to go around all day and have thoughts like that. I'm like, well, I'm not sad when I have them necessarily. Yeah. I'm like, it's a spectrum too, in a way.
I think that for people who don't experience suicidal ideation, they think that it's just it's one or another, but it really is a spectrum. That passive suicidal thoughts, at least I personally think, is pretty normal. I think that's also why as a society we kind of have made suicide almost like a little joking thing, I'm having the worst day of my life, I'll just go so I do think that maybe for individuals who don't experience suicidal ideation like we do, they might think that it is one way or another, but it really is just a spectrum.
Sometimes I think the thoughts are more, it's almost like borderline OCD-ish kind of traits. You know what I mean?
I don't.
It's more of like an obsessive thought. Or more like a tick or something.
Yeah, no, I do know what you mean by that. That there's definitely that, some things will happen and I'm like, man, this would just be so much easier if I just... Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, oh, wait. Oh, maybe, hold on.
Or sometimes I'll have them and I won't even think about them. I won't even, I just have them. But I can tell when they are different. You know what I mean? When it's they are just these fleeting weird tics or thoughts or whatever. And when they actually become something that I would consider. And then it's like, oh, okay, shit. Okay, I should pull out my list now. Yeah. Okay, what didn't I do? What am I not doing? What's going on? Well, it's pretty amazing that you have suicidal thoughts as often as you do, and you're not on some kind of daily medication. That you are just self-aware enough to know that this is just a thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I have considered going on different medications, but because I was a part of the early 2000s Adderall push, that I was on every brand, off-brand of Adderall that there is, because that's just what they did in the early 2000s. You have ADHD, here you go. Oh, stop working, let's up the dosage. Oh, let's switch to... So I do have just some negative experiences within mental health medication, but I'm not opposed to it. That I do think that if it got to a point where I could no longer manage just with my self-care plan and other self-care tools, then that's definitely something that I would consider, though.
I've been on meds for quite a while, probably 15 years or something. And yeah, sometimes I wonder if I need to be. It's also, it's hard. It's so hard to say. I can't wait for the day that we can just take a blood test and be like, oh, you have this mental health issue and this is exactly the med that will help you. And these are the steps you should also be taking with the meds. So abstract sometimes, mental health and mental illnesses, that it's just a crapshoot. And here, try this med. Okay, you didn't die? You don't want to die? Good. The meds are working.
Absolutely.
Are they? Or is it just situational? So anyway, I'm here and I'm breathing, so I guess I keep taking them. I'm also pro meds. Take your... I end every one of my episodes with make your beds and take your meds. I know I feel like shit when I don't take my meds, but that's also a physical withdrawal thing. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm rambling.
You know where your business would be without you. Imagine where it could go with more of you. Well, with Wix, you can create a website with more of your vision, your voice, your expertise. Wix gives you the freedom to truly own your brand and do it on your own with full customization and advanced AI tools that help turn your ideas into reality. Grow your business into your online brand. Because without you, your business is just business as usual. Go to Wix.com.
I'm Dr. Sarah Rahal, the founder and CEO of Armra. I developed Armra Colostrum because I know your body was designed to thrive. It's your natural state, your birthright, and you can reclaim it. Colostrum is the first nutrition we receive in life, with every essential nutrient our bodies need. It's nature's original blueprint for health. After a devastating health crisis almost took my life, I made it my mission to harness this power. Using proprietary technology, Armra captures over 400 bioactive nutrients in every scoop, delivering over 1,000 benefits that transform your health at its foundation. Whether for gut health, metabolism, skin, hair, immunity, mood, energy, fitness, or recovery, I invite you to join this collective revival of health and discover radical transformation for yourself. Visit armra.com, that's ARMRA.com, and enter code HEALTH30 for 30% off your first subscription order. This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Oh, you're not rambling. I know exactly what you mean. I stopped, probably in middle school is when I stopped my ADHD medication. And then when I was in college, I was struggling a little bit with like trying to navigate a job and school and all the things. I thought maybe I'll try it again. But the withdrawal, because it was as needed. So technically, like I was supposed to like take it during my 3 days that I had classes. But my body just can't do that anymore because of all of the years and years of, honestly, probably the system abusing the medication on me. And so, but I do know what you mean with those nasty withdrawal.
I'm on Concerta. It's only been a couple years. I was just recently diagnosed, but I like those meds, I think. Again, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's not killing me, I guess. I do notice when I don't take my Concerta, it's like I can't even stay awake. I'll have 3 naps that day, and I'm like, why am I so sleepy? It's like, oh yeah, I'm not on my prescribed meth, basically. I need meth today. Speaking of ADHD, I had a question all loaded up in my brain, and I forget it. Or actually, how do you decide the scholarship? Is there like a board or committee? How does that work?
So I use a platform called bold.org. So I have all of like the ability to see who, like the essays, their photos, where they like their aspirations. And because of that, I know that I can't be biased because like I see their faces, like I see all about these youth. So what I typically do is I just take the essay itself and I copy and paste it into like a document. And I have my family and some of his friends read them. I normally narrow it down to like 5, but I just have them all read them and then they choose it. And nice. they tell me who should be the awardee for that scholarship. And that's how we do it. So it's whoever makes them collectively laugh as much.
And how much money how much is that roughly?
So the scholarship is $500. So we do it in the spring. So currently we do have the spring scholarship open. And then we will do one in the fall as well.
I see. Okay. For some reason in my mind, it's like a full scholarship for the university of your choice or something in my brain.
Oh gosh, I wish. But I did, when cultivating and like creating the scholarship, I wanted it to just be very easy access. So we don't have a GPA requirement, and it's also open to all higher education. So if you don't want to go to a traditional university, but you're going to a trade school, you can still apply and you can still earn the money to go to a trade school and do that too. So it really is just a very broad spectrum scholarship that anybody in Pennsylvania could apply for.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I kind of remember what I was thinking about before was the PMDD thing. Someone told me that they take an antihistamine daily.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Or maybe it's just around, don't quote me on that. It might not be daily, it might be just around the time of their cycle, but because there's like anti-inflammatories and things, and that one theory is that their brains are like, they cannot compute with all the hormones is what it is. And so it's almost like your brain's allergic to the hormones. So then by taking like an antihistamine,
I've never heard of that, but I would definitely look into that because that's very interesting. Because I mean, women's health in general is something that is not very researched. So there's still very little research done on women's health in general, let alone just PMDD. But that's definitely a very interesting thing because I never thought of that.
Yeah. In Pennsylvania, what's the mental health services and system like? Is it like everywhere else I talk to? Terrible?
So Pennsylvania is probably one of the best states when it comes to mental health care. It's not the best. You have to go a little bit more north for that. But we definitely have a lot of really great services. Now, are they the best? No, because our system is not great. I don't like saying the system's broken because it's not. It is working exactly how it was designed to. It's a well-oiled machine. But I do think that we have a lot of legislators. We do have a governor here in Pennsylvania who is very dedicated to putting his money where his mouth is and really funding mental health services. Specifically, the most recent bill has been around youth health services. So children and youth and young adults in school systems. That's where a lot of the money is going to be going. But we can always do better.
What state has the best mental health system? You said you have to go a bit north. Alaska?
I think from my experience working in youth serving systems, I would say either Massachusetts or Maine. I would probably say more Massachusetts just because Maine is also a little bit more rural. So there's less of a population there. They still have a lot of really great services though. But I would definitely say Massachusetts is one of the best.
I guess that's the problem with having so many different states, so many different laws and so many different services, and each one, because I mean, healthcare, even in Canada, it's not a federal thing. It's provincially, each province takes care of itself. And yeah, it would be nice if it was just consistent no matter where you went.
Yeah.
In your country.
Oh, and it's state to state is different, but then also Pennsylvania is a commonwealth. So it also is county to county different as well. So it's definitely interesting where certain states are commonwealths. So they also function a little bit differently. It's, we're living, we're trying to make our way through and navigate.
Huh.
So
I've never heard of that before. Some states are commonwealths.
Yeah.
News to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've talked to a lot of people. You've been to a lot of places talking about this stuff. What do you think is the most common thing that people need, or what service is lacking the most?
So many. I do think that there needs to be more of a highlight importance of peer services. So individuals with lived and living experiences, because, and maybe I'm a little biased with that because I am a peer specialist, but lived experience is something that you can't replicate in a classroom, that we see systems differently. We know how systems operate. So I definitely think that if we increase peer services a little bit more, that could definitely be a really positive impact on our system.
I agree. I used to work in addictions, and clients really do gravitate towards the staff that have that lived experience. I mean, bless the people that don't have that experience and go to school for it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's just human nature. It feels more validating or something.
You've been where I've been. So like, it's just, there's a better understanding. And I also think a lot of times because peer services kind of tend to lean away from that like clinical model, that like we use language that we know, that more clinical aspects are using like big words and clinical jargon. And sometimes that's really intimidating. But like if someone just comes in and starts talking to you like a normal human being, like there's definitely more of a connection there.
I'm finding that social media is turning more with that, like even just with memes and stuff, and like finding like almost like slang for some of the stuff I've done or felt in the past, and I didn't know there was a word for it. And then it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Of course, I can't think of one right now, but doom scrolling or whatever, like that.
Oh yeah,
or doom piles or whatever. It's like, oh my God, there's a term for that. This is great. I'm not the only one. I know it's not the same as peer support, but it sounds so easy, peer support. It's like, you don't even need much funding for that. The problem is I've tried doing it in my small town that I just moved from, and it's just nature of the beast that if you're feeling like crap and you're depressed or you're anxious, you're not going to go to a meeting and that's the most upsetting part of this, is that it's so counterintuitive. It's like, I need help. I think I'll isolate.
Yeah.
That's what's lacking the most, is the urge to not isolate for people.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you change that. AmandaGrace, you tell me.
I wish I knew, because I am also an isolating individual that I'm just gonna go lock myself in this room. Bye.
Bathtub and have some wine.
Exactly. Like, I'm just gonna go sit in the bathtub with the door locked. Like, leave me alone.
Do you find that the youth especially, is there still kind of a stigma? Are people still not wanting to talk about this stuff? Or do you find it's more of a generational thing now?
I find it more of a generational thing. That from my experience, with my lived experience, and then my experience of just working within youth serving systems, that a lot of time the stigma is from the older individuals who are working with youth. I do think that this generation is one of the most self-aware generations I think ever. They know exactly how they feel, and they'll tell you, like they'll let you know. But it's more so, I feel that the older generations are not open to listening, or we still have just that stigma or that ageism where like older adults are not seeing youth voice as valuable or having that like equal stake. And because of that, I also think that is definitely a barrier too for young people just getting services or seeking help is the adults.
Yeah, when you have 85-year-old dudes running the government.
Don't even start it.
It's hard to get them to be progressive. Doesn't matter what side they're on. Yeah. So you hate old people. Neat.
I mean, I don't hate old people, but I definitely in working just in mental health, that I love working with youth, and I've tried working with adults.
You should be a politician.
They're difficult. Adults are difficult to work with. That, like, I had an adult that I was trying to work with as a peer, and they were like, you have never been divorced. You have no idea what this is like, going through a divorce. And I was like, you got me, man. Like, you're right. You got me. I don't know that. So my mom always says, like, little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems. And so, yeah, so I don't hate working with old people, but I don't enjoy it as much as I do working within youth.
Yeah, even working in addictions, there was people that were in addictions for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, they still were like old school, like they get in the face of the clients and, hey, pull up your bootstrap and really, intense shit. And meanwhile, they're trying to change and work more with trauma and all this stuff,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of research over the last 30 years. And so people are just no, this has been working for 30 years. And then you ask them, well, what's the success rate for clients to get sober or whatever? And it's like, well, it's about 30%. I'm like, well, that's not that great. I mean, I know it's hard. I know it's hard, even with research and stuff that, but come on.
Yeah.
I mean, dentists and doctors are learning new techniques and new things all the time. Like, if you're working in mental health and addictions, come on. There's been a lot of stuff done in the last 30 years.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
But I get it too. I mean, they're from a different generation, and it was like, hey, have you tried just working harder? That's kind of the problem. I'm constantly overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah. My grandmother's like, we didn't have depression. We just got another job. And I was like, that's not how that works, but okay.
We just had another baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you tried drinking and fighting? That's what your grandfather did. I can't even do that. I quit drinking. So it's almost, I'm not going to lie, at times it does feel harder to work with my mental health when I'm sober. I mean, I say that. I know it's ultimately healthier. But like when I was drinking, at least I was like, I shouldn't be talking about this. I'm not going to relapse. I'm not suggesting you not quit drinking. It was nice to know I'm going to go home and get drunk or smoke some pot, and I'm going to sleep good tonight.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you're just compounding things, and it's not a good investment. It's not sustainable, but at times when I am really struggling now, it's like, I can't even do that. What the hell am I going to do? Then I pull out my list.
Pull out your list?
Okay, let's make a list for me right now.
All right.
I like this. This is a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut out about 20 minutes of the crap I said and replace it with us making a list for me.
So you should have stuff that is low energy, things that you can do, that you can do if you have a little bit more energy. And I also would recommend things that are sustainable. And what I mean by that is if they are like low cost or free, because like going, I don't know, to a fancy dinner or something like that, like that's not sustainable. I can't do that all the time.
Yeah.
So
shopping spree.
Exactly. And I love retail therapy, but clearly I can't do that all the time or I'll be broke.
Right. And I mean, okay. So I got The Office. Watch The Office.
Lovely.
Would eating be bad? Sometimes I like to overindulge.
I don't think that's bad. I think that
eating my feelings.
I personally think that that's healthy. That obviously if somebody who's watching is struggling with disordered eating, then maybe not. But that I think like sometimes I just need to eat a whole sleeve of Oreos to feel better about myself. And that's just what it is. Okay.
I've been given permission. Snacking. It's on the list. Well, I like doing creative stuff. And usually anytime I'm doing something creative, it's like I'm feeling guilty the whole time. It's like, oh, I should be working. I should be doing this instead or whatever. So guilt-free, creative something.
They have like adult coloring books. I find them so fun that like
it's filthy, like it's like pornography coloring books?
No, like there's an entire page that has like bubble letters with just the F word. And
okay.
Yeah, so I just get to color that in.
I think they do make erotic coloring books.
Probably. I think if you can imagine it, somebody has made it.
Yeah, that's right. Oh God, don't say that. I have there's lines that my imagination can cross.
There's a lot going on.
I love sleeping. Is that bad?
Taking
when
a nap?
I'm feeling crappy. It's like...
Sometimes you just need to take a nap.
I think I have to write guilt-free in front of all of these. Guilt-free snacking, guilt-free office, guilt-free napping.
I think that anything within moderation, I think anything that you do that helps you be the best version of yourself should already be guilt-free, because that is the ultimate goal. No matter what that might look like for you, that whatever helps you become that best version of yourself, but also in a healthy, sustainable way, that we're not going to put drugs and alcohol on our lists. Harm reduction is the goal here. But anything that you can do to be the best version of yourself, whatever that looks like for you.
So it seems like the bigger problem is my guilt. So what can I do to get rid of guilt?
Oh gosh, I wish I knew.
Gratitude? Gratitude lists?
Maybe.
Oh, I'm going to have so many lists.
So many lists. I'm a list person. Maybe I should have prefaced that at the beginning. I like lists.
You do have ADHD, don't you? I have. You should see my desk. I would move the camera, but it's a pain in the butt. But I have so many pieces of paper with like this, just little check marks, and then
exactly. I thrive in structure, in lists. Thing.
I have a whiteboard over here. So I'm going to add on the list gratitude thinking.
Oh, my coworker. What did he call? Positive self-talk. I know.
It's
and
so
it's hard
hard
to do, but
yeah, it's so much easier just to snack.
Yeah. But if you can try to refrain from negative self-talk, which I mean, we all do it every day, all day.
Like the idiots we are.
Yeah. Like, oh, I can't do anything right. But trying to be intentional with our positive self-talk.
Get confident, stupid.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. It always seems like anytime I'm doing public speaking and I'm telling people, here's some stuff that would really help you, I don't do those things when I'm feeling like crap.
Mm-hmm.
You find that too when you're talking to people, you feel like a hypocrite almost.
all the time. I saw like a post on social media. It was like me telling people to practice self-care, like me telling people like to, work on themselves. And meanwhile, I'm a flaming dumpster fire.
Right.
But we're all just work in progresses. I think we're all just trying to do the best that we can.
It's progress, not perfection.
Oh, exactly. Broken crayon, still color.
Because it's true. It's like, okay, I'm a dumpster fire, but I was a way bigger dumpster fire 5 years ago.
It's the small wins. The small wins.
Yeah, exactly. Small wins. That's something I never do. I never celebrate small wins. Maybe when I'm feeling funky, I could be like, hey, look where I've come from over the last couple of years. You
got out of bed today. And if that's the only thing that you did today, it's still a good day.
Yeah. Hey, this is good. What do I owe you for this hour? What do you charge? Do you have social media?
I mean, I'm on Instagram. No Shame and Brain Pain is my Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. Besides that, I'm just here hanging out, being me.
Does the scholarship have a website?
So we are on Facebook, the Sean Flynn Foundation on Facebook.
Thank you so much for that, AmandaGrace, and thank you for advocating for the youth. Thank you for your scholarship and for just being such a lovely person. Please, everybody, remember to give a rating and review to the podcast if you haven't already. Share, follow me on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Carey, for all the help and work you do for the podcast. And until next week, please remember to make your beds and take your meds. Bye.
It's time to turn your daydream into your dream job. Wix gives you the power to turn your passion into a moneymaker with a website that fits your unique vision and drives you towards your goals. Let your ideas flow with AI tools that guide you, but give you full control and flexibility. Manage your business from one dashboard and keep it growing With built-in marketing features, get everything you need to turn your part-time passion into a full-time business. Go to Wix.com.